Alright everyone, this is Crazy, coach of the North Florida Knights, here for my Week 3 matchup versus Amaranth and the Atletico Mareep. As always, if you want to skip straight to the battle and skip over the team builder, there's going to be a link in the video description below. But without further ado, let's jump into the team builder. Alright, so I'm not going to lie to you guys, this is probably going to be the roughest matchup of the season. Not only am I playing one of the best players in our league, two-time champion, Amaranth, but we also are... let's say this is not going to be a good matchup on paper either. So, we'll go ahead and run through Amaranth's team really quickly, and then we'll talk about our plan. So, offensive threats. He's got Urshifu, physical attacker, commonly running Choice Band, can run Bulk Up as well, or Scarf. Does notably get Aerial Ace coverage, which we'll talk about later. Zarude, very good physical attacker as well. Dark and grass coverage, going to be probably his primary Suicune check. Then we have Sneasel, which is a surprisingly potent Choice Band attacker, despite being not fully evolved. Knockoff is very good against our team. We really need the majority of our items to stay in this match, so we'll have to be very careful around that. Then potential sweeper in Clefable. So Clefable can be on either the defensive or sweeping end of the spectrum in this matchup. I think Calm Mind Clef with Thunderbolt is very scary for my team, and we have one mon on our team pretty much because that set exists. And yeah, it's really good. Outside of that, it can also be unaware if he just doesn't want to lose to Suicune, or Nasty Plot Tornadus, for example. He's got a lot of options with that Clef set. Then we have other utility mons. We have Rotom-Heat. Can be Defog, can be just a pivot mon 95% of the time, and is very annoying for a lot of our team with the exception of one or two mons. Then we have Rhyperior, which is not super likely to come. I think if it does, it's most likely just going to be carrying Stealth Rocks, but Suicune's such a good check to it, I'm not really worried about it. Then we come to the biggest problem of this matchup, which is Corviknight. Corviknight completely walls Excadrill. It might as well not even be here if Corviknight is alive. We can't kill it with it. And then additionally, it's also got a great matchup against a lot of other things on my roster. Potential Buzzwole sets most of the time can't beat it. Pressure is really annoying for me. PP stalling a lot of my healing moves, for example. And yeah, the fact that it just shuts Excadrill off entirely is incredibly good. And then other things like T-Tar that I'm not bringing, it also beats that as well. And then Chansey. So Chansey, classically Skarm Bliss is a very potent combo, and Corviknight Chansey is a similar one. And yeah, it's really good special wall. Deletes a lot of my team, like Tornadus, for example, Moltres. Not very good against Suicune, notably, and we'll talk about why when we get to that. But yeah, it's a really good mon. And then the mons I think he's almost certainly not bringing, Trapinch and Lapras. Trapinch is a arena trapper, but it doesn't really trap anything notable on our team, and we can probably KO it with the majority of the things that it would trap. And then Lapras will only come if that he thinks that's his best bet for beating Suicune. I don't know that he will. I think he'll have other better answers, like Zarude most notably, but he could bring Lapras if he just doesn't want to think about it and want something that will just shut it off. So we'll jump into our team, starting with this Torn set. This Torn set has been through a few iterations. It was originally Nasty Plot, but I couldn't actually come up with a set that didn't just auto lose to Blissey mostly. And yeah, we ended up going with Taunt because I was afraid of Ditto. That was the other main reason I'm off of Nasty Plot. We do have max special attacks that we 2 at KO Corviknight with Heat Wave. Taunt also helps us prevent it from healing. Knockoff is really good if we can get off of Blissey or Chansey Eviolite, or just almost any of his other mons items. It's going to be really, really helpful. And then Hurricane is for the 2 physical attackers. Although ideally, if we can chip Zarude, we can get it down into Heat Wave range for accuracy's sake. Next up, notably we have just enough speed to outspeed his whole team. Max special attack, as I touched on, 2 at KO's Corviknight with Heat Wave. Next up, we have Excadrill, and I originally wasn't going to bring Excadrill this week, but when my other ways of actually defeating Calm Mind Clef with Thunderbolt were impossible, I basically settled on the necessary evil of bringing Excadrill. We'll try to use it to waste his Corviknight's you know, defog PP if we can. It's a very solid check to Clef. We have just enough speed to outspeed max speed Rotom-Heat and Oko it with Earthquake. We were Swords Dance for a short period of time, but it just can't do enough to Corviknight no matter what. And then yeah, the rest is 160 HP gives us 401 health, which lets us live up to 4 Plasmic Tosses from Chansey, and then the rest in special defense so we can tank as many Moonblast as possible. Rapid Spin and Stealth Rocks, yeah, we're just here for utility mostly. That's pretty much it. So we end up running Rocks, and Rapid Spin is in case he uses Ditto to copy the Dragalge on my team, which I'll talk about when we get there. Next up we have Buzzwole. So this set is pretty obvious, I think. Very defensive, almost max defense for just enough speed to outspeed a few things. And then just in case he's speed creeping. And then we also have Bulk Up. Bulk Up is not super great because Clefable just crushes it regardless, but it's mostly there so that if we bulk up twice, we can actually outlive a no investment Corviknight and chip it to death with Rocky Helmet, and you know, get a few Thunder Punches in there if needed. So that's really what that's there for. Notably, it doesn't stop the critical hits from Surging Strikes, so we'll have to be careful if he's bulk up. It's going to be a little bit tricky, so we'll have to figure out what we're doing at that point. But with that being said, yeah, this set is pretty much a necessary evil for the 2 physical attackers. Or Shifu, if it's banded, does not beat this set most of the time unless it's Aerial Ace, and he's predicting the switches a lot. And Zarude also really can't do anything to this set. It also does okay against Sneasel, but it's going to be a sad day if I get my Rocky Helmet knocked off, and so I'd rather avoid that situation. This is a little annoying against Chansey, actually, because I don't one-hit KO it, and it can Toxic me, but we'll talk about how we're planning on getting around that later on. I actually want to bring this in as little as possible because it just invites in Clef for free, and then we end up at Corviknight for free, and he defogs, so the less times I have to bring this in, the better, until we can get rid of Corviknight, basically. Alright, so Dragalge, I think, might be, if I'm going to win, this is going to be MVP, I think. This set's a little bit weird and a little bit not weird, so we'll talk about it. So Toxic Spikes are pretty good against this team. It's really good against Urshifu. It's really good against Zarude. Very good against Rhyperior. Really, really good against Chansey. And then Clef, if for some reason he decides he'd rather be unaware Clef, it's also really good against that as well. So Toxic Spikes are really solid against him. That's the main reason we're bringing this. Additionally, we're no Draco Meteor. We were originally Draco Meteor over Protect, and he ended up cutting it because of Ditto. If he switches Ditto in and copies this, I really have nothing on my team with the exception of Excadrill that wants to tank a Draco Meteor, and I need to keep Excadrill healthy for taking as many Moonblasts as possible off Chansey, so we can avoid damaging that. That's best case scenario. So Protect is there to get more Black Sludge recovery, which is really nice, and then that lets us also you know, scout for choice moves on things as well, which is really good. Yeah, really solid set. We're really fast because we need to be able to outspeed Corviknight so we can 2-hit KO it with Thunderbolt and not let it roost through. It also helps a lot against if he's speed creeping at all on Clefable. The rest go into special attack, max, obviously we're modest, and then HP for remainder. Alright, so we mentioned earlier why what our kind of plan for Chansey is. This is one thing that can help quite a bit. So we are Safeguard Moltres. That helps us beat Chansey very easily 1v1. Toxic was a last minute addition. Toxic went through 5 other moves. I was U-Turn, I was Will-O-Wisp, I was Defog, and then I was even Mimic at one point to try to beat Clefable. Spoilers, it did not work out very well. But ultimately I ended up on Toxic. Toxic's really nice. It combos with the Safeguard to actually beat Chansey 1v1 pretty easily. And it's also really nice because if he tries to get cheeky and switch either, well, most likely Urshifu in or Rotom-Heat especially against this thing, Toxic is really good to hit either of those, so that'll be super huge. Flame Body so that you know, his physical attackers might get burned. Also, notably Corviknight getting burned is really huge. So yeah, that's the main goal of that set. And basically, we're here to play man-to-man on Corviknight with Moltres. That's the main reason it's here. We're Flamethrower, so we have a lot of PP for those pressure turns. So Alright, so this set is pretty obvious rather. It's max HP. Suicune max HP is very important because you reach 404, which is the magical number to get 101 HP subs, which lets you tank a Seismic Toss from Chansey and start setting up Calm Mind, so this is huge for that. After one Calm Mind, we 2-hit KO Zarude, so we need a lot of chip on Zarude to be able to actually threaten it behind a sub. This thing is potentially a problem for him. Like, if he doesn't have Lapras, and if he doesn't have Unaware Clef, and he lets us get too far ahead in Calm Minds, and Zarude goes down, we can probably win. Notably, Ditto is trash against Suicune. Not only do we have Substitute, but even if we don't have Substitute, between pressure and the fact that he can only, if he's Scarf, which he presumably is, he can only lock into one move, and they're not very effective, and Calm Mind raises my special defense as much as my defense, he's never breaking me with Ditto, so it's really nice for that reason. And yeah, we get Leftovers Recovery, he doesn't. That's also why Buzzwole is really nice with Bulk Up, because between Rocky Helmet and the fact that neither of those moves, neither Thunder Punch nor Drain Punch is doing much to my Buzzwole, Ditto is pretty neutralized. So like if you notice, Dragalge, Moltres, like Moltres with Toxic is a little bit annoying, so we'll have to pay attention to that. That's the one thing, but if I manage to have Safeguard already up, then Toxic doesn't do anything. So yeah, that's like the one good Ditto target he has is Moltres. Everything else is either neutral or good for me, I would say. But yeah, this is going to be an incredibly tough matchup, and I've talked about it a lot. It's actually my second time recording this, because the first one I forgot to unmute my mic. So yeah, this matchup's going to be hard. We're playing against two-time champion, and the matchup is bad. Good luck, future me, and without further ado, take it away.
Ready? Battle start.
Alrighty, so we are in the matchup versus Amaranth. Two very notable things off the bat. One, he does have Lapras, which makes Suicune quite a bit worse. And he also noticeably does not have Clefable, which is absolutely huge for me. I think my team is like fairly Ditto proof, which is good because he does have the Ditto unless he's a weird non-Scarf Ditto set. So I like no Clef for me quite a bit. I need to check one thing on Lapras though, and I need to check if it gets Heal Bell. If he doesn't, it'll be a little bit of a different matchup. Lapras does get Heal Bell, so I think it's fairly likely it has that, if I had to guess. So, thinking about the matchup here, I think his main Buzzwole check is Rotom at this point. You might think it's supposed to be his Corviknight, but I think I can beat the Corviknight heads up, which is good. The Rotom's really the only thing that scares it out face to face. Really good for me. I think that, yeah, no Clef is huge for me. Very happy about that. It does mean Excadrill is quite a bit worse, but I think that's okay. Thinking about this, who's he gonna lead? Rocker's Chansey. I think Rotom-Heat is the only like truly terrible matchup for Torn here. I think I like looking on Torn. He leads on. Let me check. I even want to knock him off. So, Torn. My exact Torn set. Hurricane does about half. Suicune eats pretty well. Suicune is definitely a lot worse in this matchup. Interesting, because I'm tempted to knock off here, but I'm actually worried about if knocking his Scarf off means that I'm gonna have a harder time to deal with Torn, ironically. Not really particularly high on getting Suicune's item knocked off, even though I don't think it's that great in the eyes of Lapras. So I think I just Hurricane here. If he knocks me off, I think that's okay. And then I can then, once I figure out what his item is, or what his like plan is for that, like if he knocks me off, that's actually okay. If he Hurricanes, I can go into Suicune and probably be okay there as well. Excadrill can tank Hurricanes, okay, so that's also... Okay, we'll go... I think that's actually good. Now I click knock off. I think it's very unlikely he stays in here. And ideally I get to knock something's item off that's very valuable. Hitting that is also huge. A little annoying because he has Torn, so he can just switch. But I think that my Torn's item is probably among the least useful items. Like, it's useful enough. I get to knock this thing's boots off, which is nice. Or leftovers in this case. So here, I think I have a fairly safe Dragalge switch. Happy about that. Click some T-Spikes. Gonna go Chansey. I think that's okay. So, think about what this Chansey's gonna actually do here. I think I can go Excadrill if I had to guess. Because I don't need Excadrill for... Clef anymore. I can Rapid Spin pretty easily. Teleport's fine for me. That's bad. Yeah, I should have guessed Teleport. So here, I think I just go into Moltres. That's fine for me. He defogs, that's fine. Here, I think I want to Toxic this. Gouty's staying in. Now I get to hit him with the tech. Safeguard. Goes your Shifu. I think I have to go Buzzwole the first time. Fine. Figure out what item he is. Surging Strikes did a total of 41%. Wasn't banded. Yeah, so he's definitely banded, I think. So I think here we click Roost. This switch is almost certainly Corviknight. I think that's fine. Alright, so now. Trying to think of a reason not to just go into Moltres here. Can't think of one. Rotom-Heat, fairly obvious. Gonna go into Dragalge. Volt switch. Lots of... Let's check Dragalge. Heat. I think of what coverage maybe we have. Fine. Goes Corviknight. That's fine. I think here I'm just going to protect, see what he does. If he teleports, that's fine. If he Sighs and Tosses, that's also fine. I'm tempted to go Torn. I think I can just go Excadrill though. Why not? Now we can get rocks up, force him to go Corviknight. Or we can even double. Doubling seems... We double in, probably. Double into Buzzwole here. Fine for me. Trying to think if I want to risk it. I think he might overheat here. Does Volt Switch. Okay with that. This is gonna be a long ass game, let me tell you. So, wrap yourselves in. Alright, Ditto. Has its item still? Not for the life of me. We just go Excadrill here. Yep. I think this time I'll click Rocks. Corviknight switch. Horn. on this turn. I think it's just likely to go Rotom-H here. I think we can get a lot. Very invested. Right. I go Beacon, I think. Definitely made a mistake there. Knock off Hurricane. So I think what it can do to me. Lapras. What other moves does Lapras get? Really need to look. No Lapras is here for it. It's Freeze Dry, Perish Song, Whirlpool. We just sure honestly what to do here. You need to go something that Lapras doesn't beat. We're just going to my own Torn here. The Lapras is definitely going to be Perish Song, most positive. I try to taunt off. I think taunt's just. It's a real shame because I really think that Rotom-Heat a lot. I think we just need to go Algae here. Switching in. Oh shit. Okay. Effect. Seismic Toss is. Can't afford. I wonder if he actually Seismic Tosses again. Gonna teleport probably. I think if he goes Corviknight here, I T-Bolt. Really try to put the pressure on it. Did brave. Oh, that's kind of bad. So, good news is I almost certainly get to. I need to figure out a way to make sure that he doesn't just get to go into Corviknight again. Need to keep these T-Spikes up long enough to toxic something. Good. I think I'm gonna make the bold Excadrill play. I need to go launch. Oh, it's just very brutal. Okay, yeah, this game is probably over, unfortunately. Stay in here. Yep. I probably just need to click Earthquake, even though I know he's going Corviknight. Not gonna be as bulky on Rotom, which means Hurricane does more. Yeah, losing Dragalge. It was a risky play. I was too low on health. Yep, that's fine. Not fine, it's terrible. Deal with it. Yeah, I think I'm too far behind to win this. It's just gonna not happen for quite a few turns. That's good at least. Fine. Here. Puzzle. I think he was special attack invested. What should Overheat do? Gonna go Suicune here. Let's sign him off. Alright, we're moving somewhere with some luck, unfortunately, but footage. Physical lab. Alrighty, we're back at this again. This time I'm gonna go extra drill. It's so low risk for him to overheat there is the problem. He just doesn't lose anything by doing it. Really bad for me. Gonna Hurricane something. Maybe he'll hit himself. Back to Lapras. Going to go Ditto again here. I'm not 0% to win, but I'm definitely not favored. Just I need it bad. I think he's gonna aerial link me here, so I'm just gonna switch. Stayed in. Surprises me. Game was over pretty early, unfortunately. It was just going to take a long time to get there. I just didn't have enough for Rotom-Heat. I mean, I did have the Dragalge, but the problem with the Dragalge is that I couldn't keep it healthy enough. I also played too risky as well, so... Yep, he got me. Alrighty, well, that was the matchup. We are down to 1 and 2. Well played, Amaranth. It was a really rough matchup. Yeah, peace out.